Yeah, I came from pain, from broken nights, dark halls, court calls, and inner fights. I looked in mirrors I couldn't face, cause guilt was louder than saving grace. Used to pray with a cigarette burn, wondered if God would ever return. Tears in the gutter, knees to the floor. You real, show me something more. Amazing grace, you found me there in the silence of a desperate prayer. You lifted me when I had no name. Wrapped me in light, erased the shame. Amazing grace, through every scar, you showed me love for who we are. Even in storms I couldn't face, you pulled me through with amazing grace. I was drowning in verses with nowhere to breathe. A prodigal soul that couldn't believe, swallowed by voices, haunted by past. Tried to run, but the pain ran fast. But then I heard you in the quiet cry, like a whisper that wouldn't let me die. Now every rhyme I spit's a prayer, telling the lost he's really there. Amazing grace, you found me there in the silence of a desperate prayer. You lifted me when I had no name. Wrapped me in light, erased the shame. Amazing grace.
Welcome to The Truth Hurts. I'm TA. This is my Bible study. Thank you for tuning in live here on YouTube. Today we're going to be talking about Lazarus and the rich man. Lazarus, again. I taught on Lazarus once before. I know y'all, most of my subscribers, my audience, my congregation know that I've taught this. But there are some people who missed it, who want me to teach it again and add some things. So I'm going to add some things that was left out that we need to know about Lazarus. What Lazarus really means. What is God trying to show us about Lazarus? What is it about this Lazarus that he wants us to know? We're going to go to these chapters right here. We got Luke chapter 16, John chapter 11. We might go to Jude chapter 1, I don't know for sure. There's a lot of scriptures that relate to Lazarus, and we're just going to use two stories today. So if y'all want to learn some more about Lazarus, the rich man, tribe of Judah, Latinos, Native Americans, whites, Asians, Italians, I want everybody to hear this, okay? So the whole key to this is that, you know, I got white homeboys, I got black and brown homeboys. So when I say black and brown, I mean Latino, Native Americans, other race of people, but mainly the tribe of Judah. And I have a few friends out there. But this lesson right here will step on some toes. If you're not ready to be stepped on, this is The Truth Hurts. We tell the truth here in this Bible study. And this is gonna step on some toes because if you're my black and brown homeboys, it's gonna help you in some areas, and it's also gonna step on your toes because of our disobedience. I'm gonna show you where we were disobedient, how we was God took our eternal being with him away and shortened our life to 120 years. Very few of us live to see over 120. So after he cursed us, after the ground was cursed, after Moses and him and all that lived 800 years and all that, then the years started to go down and down and down to 120. So we was cursed, we was disobedient, we're still disobedient today. He took our kingdom away from us, and God is going to bring it back to us. But we still have to suffer, out how much we protest, march, and all that. And it will help. Some things will get laws changed. Martin Luther King proved that. Malcolm X proved that. And a whole lot of activists that has passed on and that still living today have proved that. But the curse still is going to be on us. It don't matter how much we march and protest. Yeah, it'll change a few laws. It'll get through a few legislators and to where they'll get some laws changed because we have a strong voice. Thanks to the Almighty Yahweh, and in the name of Yahweh Shai. And I'm trying to get better with my speaking, like I am part of the tribe of Judah, which I am part of the tribe of Judah. I am with that nation, and a lot of you are who's listening to me. So if you're black and brown, you're disobedient. That's why we're cursed. We're still disobedient today. We can be listening to this today, and a lot of us who's listening today ain't gonna change. So, that's why we're cursed. We don't do the right things. We don't make the right choices. We don't use our wisdom, and we don't gain wisdom because we don't study God's word. Because the beginning of wisdom is the knowledge of the Most High God, Yahweh. So, so that's my black and brown brothers. Y'all disobedient. We're disobedient. Sisters, y'all are very disobedient. So God cursed us. He cursed our ancestors. He cursed our ancestors, and we're paying for their disobedience, for their wrongdoings, for them worshiping other gods, idols, idolizing people, man, instead of idolizing the one who chose us. We were the chosen ones. We are the chosen ones. You can tell, you can just look at history, 400 years plus in Egypt, 400 years plus here. I can keep going. So it might step on your toes, this black and brown, but there's good news for us on this. This is not our kingdom. I know y'all want it to be. A lot of you black and brown want to be white. Y'all act like y'all want to be white, which you need to really know who you are, because a lot of white people want to be white. They stay themselves, and there's a lot of whites that try to act black. But I mean, everybody should stay original according to their tribe. But if you knew the Bible, you would know where I'm going with this. But a lot of us, black and brown, try to act like that, and a lot of so you need to know who you are and what you are, and stop trying to be another race when you're not. This is their kingdom. This is not our kingdom. So even if you try to be white, you're not gonna get any props for that. You're still going to be treated like you're a slave, like our ancestors were slaves here. You're still going to be discriminated. You're still going to be picked on when there's more whites than blacks in the crowd. You're still going to, all that's still going to happen because it's written in here that we were going to be persecuted because of Christ, because of Yahweh. I'm trying to get better at that, because of Yahweh. Because we represent him. So if he was persecuted, we're going to be persecuted too. Because this is not our kingdom. So stop trying to be white. This is their kingdom here. That's why they on top right now. So if you're my white homeboys, I got on the black and brown. White homeboys out there too. And y'all know we cool. So if y'all my white homeboys, y'all ancestors going to make, what y'all ancestors did to my ancestors, y'all have to pay for that now too. Y'all gonna have to pay for that in the second coming. For 1,000 years, y'all gonna have to pay for that. Y'all gonna have to serve us. My white homeboys, y'all not gonna like me maybe after this lesson. If you really believe this Bible and you really want to know the truth about this Bible, if you really want to know really the breakdown of scripture, and really know and not the fake stuff, so you can really choose that if you really If you really want to know the truth, so you can choose if you want to follow this word or not. That's the good thing about Yahweh. Yahweh, he gives us the choice to choose. That's the power we have. Once you hear this lesson, once you hear this message, now I'm talking about to my white homeboys, to the white crowd that's listening now. You have a choice to choose if you want to follow this Bible or not. Because see, the churches have fooled you and got you thinking that this Bible was meant. It's meant for everybody, but was that the way they had it designed, they twisted it around to make you think that we have nothing to do with this hardly. When the children of Israel in this Bible is really, we represent them. The African Americans here, the Latino, the Native Americans. And the church has gotten you to think that white people was Moses, white people was this, white people was that in the Bible, and they was really hardly nowhere around until the New Testament of Romans took over Jerusalem, Israel. So, I mean, there's truth in the Bible that the Catholic Church is not teaching y'all. I'm talking about my white homeboys. There's truth about this Bible that theology school ain't teaching y'all. Theology school ain't going to tell y'all that y'all will be serving us for 1,000 years in the second coming of Christ, Yahweh, Shah. Why would theology school tell you that when theology school was set up by the government, and the government is the ones who's going to be serving us also? The ones in high authority. So why would they teach that in theology? No one would even want to go to theology who's not part of the house of Israel. Because a lot of this has to do with how we was slain, tormented, tortured, all these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years, and we have had no justice. And God is trying to show us that at the end, our justice is coming. And then your ancestors, what they did to us, y'all will have to pay. Y'all going to reap what they sowed. We had to reap what our ancestors sowed. Moses, them, and all them, we're reaping from that. They disobeyed God. We wasn't the ones that was in Egypt and all that. We didn't do all that. We didn't create a gold calf and start bowing down to the gold calf and worshiping them. That was Moses, them. That was our ancestors. And God cursed us and said we will be cursed and be scattered to all parts of the world, few in numbers. We will be persecuted and slain. That's the dry bones you see. All the Africans, all the tribe of Judah who was slain and murdered when we were slaves out there. That's the dry bones, the valley of the dry bones. That's them. And some of that's going to be us too coming. World War III, all that stuff is coming, man. So all of our people who were slain, they did that. You didn't do that. Now you probably living the best life in, got black homeboys, go to church together. But what your ancestors did, you have to pay for that. So y'all might not like me after this message, but that's okay. Because I'm here to tell the truth. And the churches is hiding these things, and the preachers are not preaching this, and they're going to be judged for that too. And y'all old school, I hope I got a lot of 40 to 50-year-old who listen to my show. For those of them who are older than 40 and 50 who hear my show, let your homeboys and friends and lady friends know what they're missing. They don't want to hear the truth. We so stuck in what we've been taught, the slave mentality way, that we don't even want to hear the real truth about really what's going on in this body. It makes sense if you just give it a chance. So y'all going to have to serve us for 1,000 years. Now, we got proof of that. It's all in Revelation. That's going to be probably Sunday's lesson. So stay tuned Sunday, 1 o'clock. Then we're going to get into the nations, who the nations is, who the tribe of Judah, the house of Israel, all of that. So if you're black and brown, this message is for you. And if you're white, this message is for you. If you're almost white, if you're mixed, this message is for you. If you're what you call it, olive oil skin tone, this message is for you. And if you're black and brown, this is messages for you. So there was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fared sumptuously every day. This rich man, he had everything. He had yachts, he had skyscrapers, he had all that. You know what I mean? He owned skyscrapers, he owned land, and he owned timber, he owned cattle, livestock, all that. He was what you call the easy. Okay. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus. Beggar in Hebrew term, and beggar really means slave. We're gonna just separate. We're gonna take the word beggar and use it as slave. Okay. And there was a certain slave named Lazarus which laid at his gate full of sores. Have you ever seen the movie Goodbye Uncle Tom? And you seen all the slaves begging for food. Back then it was real. They probably over exaggerated a little bit, but we acted like that because they didn't know how to act. They didn't have food, and the kind of food that they was giving them in Africa where they was at, no telling what they was eating. But when they came here, they was giving them stuff they probably ain't ate in weeks and all that, and they would throw them food like they were dogs and animals. And they would run and try to get the food and fight for it like dogs. You ever see dogs fight for food? That's how those slaves were acting when the slave masters and were feeding the slaves on this movie. They was begging, hollering out, fighting each other, almost about to rip each other's head off for some slop. So this kind of reminds me of us all the way. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried. And in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torments, and see Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. And he cried out and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water, and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in this life, the time you received all the good things, remember that? And likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and you are tormented. And beside all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from here to you cannot, and would come from this. Neither can they pass to us. Then he said, I pray thee therefore, Father, that thou would send him to my father's house. For I have 5 brothers, that may testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment. That's the 1,000-year reign I'm talking about. Okay? Abraham said unto him, They have Moses and the prophets, let them hear them. And he said, Nay, Father Abraham, but if one went unto them from the dead, they will repent. And he said unto him, If they hear not Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded, though one rose from the dead. Because we're going to break this down. Let's start with verse 19. It said, There was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuous every day. The rich man represents our oppressors. The rich man represents all the slave masters. The rich man represents the KKK. The rich man represents the skinheads. The rich man represents all the racist people who have killed other races just so they can be more superior. The rich man are those who hate us because we represent Christ. The rich man represents those who hate us because of our skin color and our hair texture. The rich man represents those who have made us starve because they felt like we was animals. The rich man are those who put our slaves, who put our ancestors as slaves in Egypt. The rich man represent the slave masters who put us in slaves here in this country. The rich man represent all those white men and slave masters who owned those ships and put us in the bottom of those ships and didn't feed us and let us continue to be sick as they traveled throughout the seas and exported different slaves in different islands and countries and didn't treat us right and fed us shit. They fed us shit. They fed them shit, boo. This story represents that. So if y'all not really hear that, then y'all need to go down and turn. There are other channels you can watch. They fed them shit. They fed, instead of the fish meat, they fed them the fish eyes. They did all kind of crazy stuff. And the ones who died, instead of throwing them out in the sea, they cut off some of their lineages of the body parts of their body, the slave body parts, cooked it and fed them that. Made soup out of it and fed them that. Didn't even know they was eating their own people. So don't sit up here and look at me like that, like this ain't real stuff here. See, they're not telling y'all the whole truth in the church. We go in church and say thank Jesus and praise God and all that. And Yahweh, which is his real name, is not saying, what are y'all doing? Y'all not even going to church saying the African Americans are the real true Jews. Because y'all not did y'all research and study. Y'all just going by what the preachers are saying. And theology school has twisted y'all mind because they don't want y'all to know the whole truth. Because if y'all know the whole truth, then our heads will be held up high with confidence. And they will not be able to pull us down if we walk with confidence. So they lie in theology schools. And they tell y'all these lies about who Christ, who Yahweh is. They tell y'all his name is Jesus. And they tell y'all he was white with blue eyes or olive oil cream color. They don't tell y'all in the church that his hair was like wool. They don't even bring that up. They say white like wool, and then Daniel is going to say pure wool. Feet, hands like burnt bronze, and feet in Revelations. So they're not teaching you all this. So that's who the rich man represents. The rich man represents all of those people who oppressed us. But the church is going to tell you the rich man is just a man who didn't give somebody $1 at the corner store. The church is going to teach you that the rich man is you, and because you didn't give somebody a piece of your cornbread when they ask, can they have an extra piece of cornbread at the table? The church is going to teach you that the rich man is just somebody who went to the grocery store and a woman walked by and said, "Sir, you mind if you can loan me $5 so I can go in and give me a piece, buy me a chicken?" And he turned her down. No, the rich man is our slave masters. The rich men were the ones, the government right now who's plotting secretly against our people, our tribe, to kill us. The ones who are putting viruses out in the air, the ones who's polluting our air and our community, who's letting it happen, the ones who's allowing the FDA to put chemicals on the shelves like shampoos, lotions and stuff, allowing those things to be put on the table when they know that it causes cancer. The rich man is the government who is allowing the doctors to take oaths to give us medicines that they are using to experiment on us when we have not given them permission to use us as lab rats. Those are the rich men. Those are the ones who God is talking about, who are the rich men. Now watch this, because those are the people who are in power. Doctors, the governors, all those people, the presidents, the senators, the legislators, the slave masters, the rich people who have stock with those people, who migrate with those people, who intervene with those people, who network with those people. These people are the rich man. Some of these people are black and brown. You will be burned. You will have to go through the lake of fire on the second coming too. But you will be pulled out and be brought back to us. But they will serve us because we had to serve them. Our ancestors and us, we had to serve them in this kingdom for more than 1,000 years. They still reign. We can't come on top of nothing. You can't come on top of the white man in this kingdom. This is their kingdom. And all you white boys out there, all you white women out there, white men out there, who poor and don't have no money, how dare you be poor in your own kingdom? You're poor and beat down in your own kingdom? I can understand us. We're cursed. Black and brown people. But white people, y'all, some of y'all are broke down in your own kingdom. Y'all should be able to rise right here in your own kingdom. Because there's going to be a time to come that when the second coming of Christ comes, then our kingdom, that's going to be our kingdom. Y'all going to have to serve us in our kingdom. So the churches are not teaching y'all this because that hurts. You wouldn't even have nobody in the pews. But that's okay. Celebrate now. You're still in your kingdom. Do good in your kingdom. So after the 1,000 years that you serve us, then God will give you grace and y'all be able to live on a new earth like us and all that. But we still will be the chosen ones now. Now forever, because God chose us first, y'all will be up under us forever. We will be on top. We will be God's chosen one even there on the second, on the new earth. We are the lowly now on this earth. And it's been that way since the beginning. Almost. We had it, but we lost it. So, and there was a beggar named Lazarus, which laid at his gate full of sores. Now you have to understand what Lazarus means. Lazarus means God has helped in Hebrew. There are two definitions of Hebrews, but this Hebrew means, God has helped. Why is God using Lazarus' name as God has helped? So we know what the rich man represents. Lazarus represents the tribe of Judah and the house of Israel, period. It represents us, black and brown, Latino, Native Americans. It represents us. So we was the slave. Beggar, we're going to mean slave. We was poor, broke down, slaves, begging at the rich man's and our oppressor's doorstep. So if you ever seen Goodbye Uncle Tom, that, we'll get to that part in a minute. So, and there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which means God has helped. Why does Lazarus' name mean God has helped? So, we got twice God used Lazarus in the Bible. God used Lazarus as saved Lazarus twice in the Bible. He saved him twice. So his name means God has helped. Look that up. All right, see, that's something I threw at y'all. Y'all know that, did you? Yeah. Okay. Okay. And he laid at the rich man's gate full of sores. Let me turn on the air. It's getting hot in here. Hold on. Okay, I apologize for that. So he was full of sores and desired to be fed with the crumbs. They say he desired to be fed with crumbs because he wasn't going to get nothing else. So he knew every day, I know that's what I'm going to get. It's just like when I did time in prison. We knew we was going to get chicken on Thursdays or something like that. So we desired that every Thursday we knew, man, that chicken. Every day he knew that because we knew we wasn't gonna get nothing else but that chicken for dinner. He knew he was not gonna get anything else but crumbs. So he desired that every day. Imagine waking up every day desiring crumbs. Now, Goodbye Uncle Tom movie was telling some truth because you can see the little kids up under the master table with the dogs, waiting for them to throw the chicken bones that they have ate off the chicken. I mean, the bones that they ate the meat off the chicken. They'll throw it up under the table, or like they was dogs. These was what you call the house niggas, the house slaves. They stayed in the house. No telling what they fed the ones who was outside, but they would throw the food on them they would throw after they get through eating whatever was left on the plate, they would throw it up under the table. So this story represent the slaves from the tribe of Judah. When they said and desired to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table, they're trying to say and desired to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the slave master's table. And moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. They say, who was that? Booker T. Washington said that they would be so hungry that when they would throw the crumbs up under his master's table, that they would have to fight the dogs just to get the crumbs, the lineages and stuff. So name a race or people that suffered like that besides the African American slaves. And I don't even think the Hebrew slaves suffered like the African American slaves did, because at least they ate watermelon and stuff and got a chance to eat good foods. They fed us pig shit. They fed us dog boo-boo poop. They fed us chitlins, guts, pig guts, and we still eating that today. Shame on y'all. Get out the slave mentality. So I still be cool with my white homeboys. I'm still cool with my black and brown homeboys, but we've been disobedient people, black and brown. But God is trying to show us He's going to bring us back. And true salvation is saving us from our oppressors, from our adversaries, from our enemies. That's true salvation. That's being saved. Y'all walk around here going to my be saved from eternal life to eternal life. Tribe of Judah, house of Israel, we already got eternal life. We're already there. Some of us gonna burn in the second coming, though, in the lake of fire. God gonna pull you back out after 1,000 years because we have not been obedient to Him. But those of us who have, who's a part of the house of Israel, we're there. So it said that, and he desired to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. So the dogs came and licked his sores and all that. So that's all of us desiring to be fed, and for hundreds and hundreds of years we've been fighting to eat, starving. Finally, we're to a point where we can get food, but the food we're eating is killing us now. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom, meaning where the new earth. Abraham's bosom is where we're going to be when we after Christ come back and get us. That's where we're going to be. The new earth. And 144,000 is going to be with God in heaven. The rich man also died and was buried. See, he was buried. He wasn't carried to Abraham's bosom, which means the place where we're going to be when Christ come back and get us. And I'm pretty sure Lazarus was just up there in heaven. He probably wasn't even on the new earth. But I do know that And in hell, he lifted up his eye. They say he was in hell. He lifted up his eyes. That's that 1,000-year reign when we're going to burn, our oppressors are going to burn for 1,000 years. And those who oppressed us, who have made us slaves, who tortured us, who slain us, who murdered us, who wrongly gave us time in prison when we didn't deserve it, all of y'all going to pay. All of you have to pay for this. I mean, you have to pay according to the word. We had to pay for our disobedience. You think y'all just going to live and not pay for it too? Get on the bandwagon. Y'all don't even support us. Church, y'all don't even so y'all try to represent the church which belongs to us. And y'all don't say nothing about our tribe. Y'all don't even give us our recognition in the church that God gave to us to run. And in hell, he lifted up his eyes, being in torments, and see Abraham afar off. Y'all going to be able to see us. Playing around, flying around, whatever we're going to be doing, whatever kind of power God's going to give us, it's going to be heavenly great. Like we see y'all in the mansions and getting all these great jobs, and while we be discriminated, while the whole world watch police beat us, while the whole world watch the white police beat us. And a lot of them been getting away with it. A lot of them have gotten away with it. Thousands and thousands of them have gotten away with it throughout the thousands of years. Now, you guys are finally trying to convict few of them when we need to go back to the cold case files and just get them all. The ones who died, put their name out in there too. He was in torment. We've been in torment for so many years, so many centuries, so many decades. Our people, our tribe have been in torment. Still to this day, we're in torment because we're dying the most of everything. And we don't know why. We say it's the food, it's all that, because they're doing it. So he lifted up his eyes in torment and seeing Abraham afar off. He can see us. They're going to be able to see us. And Lazarus, which means God has helped. He helped Lazarus. He saved. That's the first salvation Lazarus got. That was his first salvation right there. This is the eternal salvation Lazarus got. I'm going to show you that was the second eternal salvation he got. I'm going to show you the first salvation he got before that. He was in his bosom. And he cried out and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send God has helped, meaning Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. How many times was we thirsty and we didn't get water? How many times were our ancestors? All this represents us. Y'all scared to teach this and preach this. Trying to show you how evil each race is and how God sees that, and it's in the Bible. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I'm in torment in this flame. We've been in torment for years. Now y'all gonna have to feel the torment. God is saying this is not just one man they're talking about. They're talking about a whole nation of people that's gonna have to be in torment for 1,000 years. 1,000-year reign. And then after the torment, after you get out of the torment, you're gonna have to serve us. But Abraham said, remember the die in your life, what y'all received, all this good stuff, and left us out, looked down on us. What you receive, all the good stuff. That's why I told you, if you're white, why y'all not, y'all supposed to be flourishing. This is y'all kingdom. If you're black and your mom is white, and if your dad is black and your mom is white, this is not your kingdom. Stop thinking that. But if your mom is black and your dad is white, this is your kingdom. You should not be broke down and poor and not have anything. You should be able to flourish. They're going to give you everything you want, everything you need if you know how to go get it. We can get it and they're still going to find some way to bring us down. They can get it and they're going to find some way to continue to bring them up. You can take a white guy and a black guy and put them together and they can do the exact same things and not let nobody know what they're doing, but let both of them become famous. They're going to find stuff on the black guy and they're going to leave the white guy alone and try to bring the black guy down. It's been that way since history because the black guy has been disobedient to God. God has cursed the black man to where we cannot come up in this kingdom. If we do, look at T.D. Jakes. Look at Bill Cosby. I don't care if you don't do nothing wrong. They're going to try to find something that you did. They're going to try to make up something just to bring your name down so you will not die a legend in this kingdom. Only one man did it, and he did it, and they got streets named after even Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. And he cried and said, Father Abraham Lazarus, that he may dip his finger in water, it may cool my tongue from tormenting this flame. But Abraham said, son, remember all the good stuff y'all had? And likewise, Lazarus, evil things. Why did he say Lazarus, meaning God has helped? Why did he say Lazarus, meaning God has helped, receive evil things? Why didn't he just say bad food? So that means all the making us eat chitlins, pig guts, that was evil. Throwing bones that you cleaned the meat off of and giving it to the little kids under the slave master's table, that was evil. That's what that means. He received evil things. All the dog shit and all the pig shit that you fed him and made soup out of it and gave it to all the slaves and made them eat it and didn't give them nothing that could give them good nourishment to their bodies, that was the evil things they talked about right there. Cutting out the body parts of our own people, making soup out of the body parts, feeding it to them, not knowing what it is, in chains, and they ate it. That was the evil things that Lazarus, which represents us, meant. And he said, Lazarus, which means God has helped, evil things, but now he is comforted. Now he is comfortable, and you are in torment. It's going to switch around. You better start showing God you honor his people. Start showing Yahweh, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. Start showing him that you honor the tribe of Judah, that you honor the house of Israel, the true house of Israel, the true tribe of Judah, not the fake ones, the ones who are here right now. No one is one to honor who we are. And the Bible strictly is telling y'all who we are. And our own people don't even want to hear the truth. Not all of y'all. And besides all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed. There's going to be a great gulf. You know, like the Gulf of Mexico, the Gulf, to where I can't get to Iran from here. It will be fixed so that y'all won't be able to get to us, but y'all will be able to watch and see us. You see how we watch and see y'all prosper in this country? And how y'all prosper? All the light-skinned, fair-skinned, hair people is prosperous all over the world, more than the dark and brown, the black and brown. We watch how y'all prosper and have things and how y'all get away with murder and we don't. And I'm mainly talking about our oppressors, our adversaries, the government and all those people. We watch, we see what y'all got. Trump, all them, we see. Y'all be able to watch us have that now, but it'll be in a heavenly way now. And y'all will be serving us, and it'll be forever. Then he said, this is what this means. Y'all ain't going to teach this in church, so y'all scared. Theology school ain't going to teach y'all this. Theology school is going to screw your head up. Tribe of Judah, do not go to theology school unless you just want to know all the ignorance that they're going to teach y'all. Then he said, I pray thee, therefore, Father, that thou would send him to my father's house. I have 5 brothers that he may testify to them, lest they also come into this place of torment. Now he's trying to get him to go preach to his brothers so they won't come there. His brothers going to have to pay too, because they heard the prophets of Moses. And Abraham said unto him, they have Moses and the prophets. They have Moses and the prophets. Let them hear them. Let them hear them. And he said, nay, Father Abraham, but if one went unto them from the dead, they will repent. He's trying to say, if one of us went to him from the dead, when you should repent it, when we was trying to preach and teach you this before all that happened. And he said unto him, if they didn't hear Moses and the prophets, talking about me, my son, all these Malcolm, I can keep all the prophets God said that y'all murdered and killed. He said, if you didn't hear them, Moses and the prophets, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, they get the most props. Those guys. Then neither will they be persuaded, though one rose from the dead. They ain't gonna be persuaded to hear somebody who rose from the dead. Because Moses and the prophets was dead when they was reading the word. So this book is teaching you Lazarus. God has helped us already. That's why his name means Lazarus, means God has helped. It's already predestined. What they did, what we did towards God, we had to pay for it in their kingdom. What they did toward us, because of what we did, they're going to have to pay for it in our kingdom. Do I need to repeat that? What we did that disobeyed God towards God, we disobeyed God. We had to pay for our disobedience in this kingdom, which is the white man's kingdom. Esau's, the Esau kingdom. The fair-skinned, fair-haired people, tribes, this is their kingdom. This is your kingdom. Why are you poor? Why are you broke down and beat up and on drugs? Lazarus represents us. The rich man represents this kingdom. So for so many years, we rebelled against God. He finally cursed us, and we had to pay for it in this kingdom, which is not ours. That's how come you see us more poor and dying more. We're few at number here and scattered because this is not our kingdom. Now, because of them making us slaves here and then treat us, slaves are supposed to be treated good. They took slavery and turned it around and treated us bad and killed us and slain us. So now they have to pay for that, not in their own kingdom. That's how come you don't see them paying for it now. That's how come when we march and protest, nothing happens, but very few laws change. But they still treat us bad in secret high places. They're doing things that's killing us. They're going to have to pay for 1,000 years, serve us in our kingdom for 1,000 years. That's the kingdom of Yahushua, Christ, who y'all call Christ, who we call Christ in this country, Yahushua, Yahweh, which is the Most High God. In Yahushua's kingdom, they're going to have to serve us, and pay for what they did in the lake of fire. And that's how this goes. If you want to follow the Bible, then if you don't want to believe that, you don't need to be following this Bible. I'm talking about tribe, house of Israel here, and fair-skinned people. All through this Bible, this is what this is teaching. What you've been learning in seminary and in the church, they're not showing y'all, telling y'all this because y'all they're afraid of it themselves. The Pope, the preachers, the teachers, the seminary professors, they're afraid to teach this themselves because they know that their time is coming. But after you pay for what your ancestors did and what you've done, and if you didn't do anything, you're still gonna have to pay like we have to pay. After you pay for it, then if you believed and did what Yahweh Shah wants you to do and live accordingly, then you will be able to live forever also on the new earth. But we will be the chosen on top. So let's go to John chapter 11. So we got Lazarus. We know what Lazarus means. God has helped. So if Lazarus means God has helped, Matthew chapter 11. Yeah, seminary is not going to teach all this. No, yeah, chapter 11, verse 1. I think I'm on the wrong scripture here. What is this? John. Okay, yeah. John, no, we're going to go to John chapter 11, not Matthew, I'm sorry. So, seminary school is not going to teach all this because theology school is the government's kingdom, and how can their kingdom stand if they're teaching against what's going to happen to them? So, of course, y'all say theology don't teach you this. They're not. You have to dig in this for yourself. This is for the tribe of Judah. This is for the house of Israel here. We have to dig into this ourselves. And when you find truth, then that's when the light is going to come. There was a certain man named Lazarus. Here's Lazarus again. This is another story about how God saved Lazarus. That's why his name means God has helped. I need some chapstick. That's why his name means God has helped. God has helped Lazarus twice. Saved him twice. Now, there was a certain man named Lazarus of Bethany in the town of Mary and her sister Martha. It was that Mary which anointed the Lord with anointing and wiped his feet. Okay, we're going to go over to I'm going to find it here. Give me a chance. Okay, let's go now to, therefore his sister sent unto him, saying, Lord, behold, to whom thy lovest is sick. Lazarus was sick. Lazarus was the brother of Mary and Martha, okay? And Jesus was friends with them. Now, Lazarus was sick, so in verse 3 it says, therefore his sister sent unto him, saying, Lord, behold, he whom thou lovest is sick. Jesus loved Lazarus. He said, he that you love is sick. This is Martha and Mary telling Jesus this in chapter 11, verse 3 in John, right here. Sick now, when Jesus heard it, this is what Jesus said when he heard it. He said, this sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God. This is the second time Lazarus is in the book of the Bible. He said, but for the glory of God, that the Son of Man might be glorified thereby. See, God is saying, Jesus is saying that he's going to use Lazarus, he's going to use us to be glorified. We represent Lazarus, we're sick, and God is going to use us, which means God has helped, to be glorified. So in verse 5, you have to get this. Now, Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. When he heard, therefore, that he was sick, he abode 2 days still. He stayed 2 days, he stayed away for 2 days in the same place where he was. He wouldn't move, so he was trying to let Lazarus die or fall asleep. Then after said to his disciples, let us go to Judea again. His disciples say unto him, Master, the Jews of the late sought to stone thee, and goest thou there again? Jesus answered, are there not 12 hours in the day? If any man walk in the day, he stumbled not. Jesus said, if you walk in the day, meaning that if you walk in the spirit of Yahushua, I say Jesus, but it's really Yahushua. That's in Revelation. That's his real name. It was given to him. Are there not 12 hours in the day? There's that 12. If any man walk in the day, if any man walks in the spirit of Yahushua, is what he's trying to say, he will not stumble. Because he see the light of this world. If you walk in the spirit of Yahushua, you can see the light of the world. You'll be able to see what God is doing. You'll be able to see the prophecies. And you'll be able to see the prophets. But if a man walk in the night, which if a man walk in the shadows of our oppressors, of evil doings, then he will stumble, because there is no light in him. These things said he, after this, he said unto them, our friend Lazarus, which means God has helped, which means the children of Jacob, sleepeth, but I go that I may awake him out of sleep. Then said the Lord, okay, we're going to skip down. Then said Jesus unto plainly, Lazarus is dead. This is the people speaking to Jesus when Jesus finally arose. Finally came up to the town where Lazarus had died. And they said, Lord, he is asleep. And Jesus was saying, they said, if you would have came, he would have never died. If you would have hurried up and came, Jesus said, he is not asleep. He is not dead. He's just asleep. Then he said his disciples, Lord, if he sleep, he shall do well. How but Jesus spake of his death, but they thought that he had spoken of taking of rest and sleep. Then said Jesus unto them plainly, Lazarus is dead. And I am glad for your sake that I was not there, to the intent ye may believe. Nevertheless, let us go unto him. Then said Thomas, which is called Didymus, we're going to jump down. Jesus said unto her, thy brother shall rise again. Because they said, man, if you would have been here, you would have lived. So Martha said unto him, I know that he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day. They were speaking prophecy then at the last day. Second coming of Christ. Jesus said unto her, see, they didn't know that this was the first coming. Right there. Talking to him right then and there, that was the first coming. Jesus said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. Believest thou this? This is what Yahushua is saying to Mary and Martha. You have to believe in him. He is the way, the truth, and the light. Through him, no one, and he's talking to us, house of Israel. Though he was dead, we was dead in our transgressions. We was already dead. We were supposed to live with God forever. Now we died at the age of 70 or 60 years old because of our transgressions. He's going to take all that away from us. So Jesus asked in verse 34, let's go all the way down to verse 34. He said, where have you laid him? Where have you buried him is what he was asking. So Jesus said, take away the stone. Back then, when you was buried, they had put a stone over a cave. They buried you in a cave. So he told them to take that stone away. Okay? And there was a stench. It was stinky, they say, when they moved the stone. So he was dead for 4 days. This 4 days, Lazarus was dead now. So verse 39 said, Jesus said, take away the stone. Martha, the sister of him that was dead, said unto him, Lord, by this time he stink, for he had been dead for 4 days. Jesus said unto her, said I not unto thee that if thou would believe, thou shouldst see the glory of God. Then they took away the stone from the place where the dead was laid, and Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me. And I knew that thou hearest me always. This is Yahweh talking to the Most High God. But because of the people who stand by, I said it, that they may believe that thou hast sent me. And when he thus had spoken, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. Meaning, God has helped you. Come forth. Lazarus' name means God has helped. So instead of saying Lazarus, let's say God has helped. Come forth. Tribe of Judah. God has helped. Come forth. House of Israel. God has helped. Come forth. That's what this is saying, y'all. He's already helped. He's already saved us. He's already avenged us from our oppressors. And he that was dead came forth, bound hand and foot with grave clothes, and his face was bound, open with a napkin. Jesus said unto them, loose him and let him go. We always talk about this, God's going to loose you from drugs. Yeah, that's true, but he's talking about the house of Israel here. He's going to tell our oppressors, loose them, let them go, the ones who's in prison, the ones who's locked in chains, the ones who have been slain. He's going to tell Satan to let them go. He's going to take us with him, and they're going to burn in a lake of fire. This is what this represents. This is the second time in the Bible that God has saved Lazarus. That's why his name means God has helped. Lazarus represents the children of God saving the children of Israel. That's who Lazarus represents. I'm going to say it again. Lazarus represents God saving the children of Israel. This is what this means. Churches today ain't going to teach y'all that. I want to thank y'all for tuning in to my show, The Truth Hurts. Until then, check out my playlist on my album. Subscribe. Y'all subscribe. For you new watchers, subscribe now. If you like what you watch, give me a number 7 on my comments. If you like what you heard, if you believe it, send me a number 7 right now. Check out my album. Check out my videos. Let everybody hear my video. The new video I just dropped called Heart and Brain. It's talking about drugs, how I was on drugs and how I beat the habit, how Yahweh gave me the power to beat it. And the song is a testimony. It's dropped. It's going to be out everywhere. So I want y'all to check that out. I got another video out called $1 Million Plan. I got a whole entire album with 22 songs on it. And it's called Drugs, Sex, and Power. I'm TA, the activist. Thank you for listening and learning, okay? Y'all stay blessed. I love y'all. My prayers are for my congregation. May the Most High and Yahweh shall be with you. Believe, pray. Let everybody hear this message. Until then, peace out.
Yeah, I came from pain, from broken nights, dark calls, court calls, and inner fights. I looked in mirrors I couldn't face, cause guilt was louder than saving grace. Used to pray with a cigarette burn, wondered if God would ever return. Tears in the gutter, knees to the floor, said if you're real, show me something more. Amazing grace, you found me there, in the silence of a desperate prayer. You lifted me when I had no name, wrapped me in light, erased the shame. prodigal soul that couldn't believe, swallowed by voices, haunted by past. Tried to run, but the pain ran fast. But then I heard you in the quiet cry, like a whisper that wouldn't let me die. Now every run spits a prayer, telling the lost he's really there. Amazing.